Hi everyone, it's Tawney. I am trying something new today. We are going to make ourselves look like Rhea Bloody Ripley. I have some image inspiration you're going to see right here. It is the way that she looked at WrestleMania 40 when she beat Becky Lynch to retain her title. It was my first major WrestleMania that I've watched, that I actually sat through, that I followed along with, that we finished the story. Shout out to Cody Rhodes. I'm a big crybaby. If you remember that stuff from last year, I'm a big Cody crybaby. We're here to talk about Rhea Bloody Ripley. So we are going to be doing a look inspired by Rhea's look at WrestleMania 40 in preparation for WrestleMania 41. So as I'm making this video, Rhea lost her title to Io Sky on Monday Night Raw this past week. I am filming this on the Saturday after that happened. So I really thought she was going to retain. I was like, there's no way they're going to do this close to WrestleMania right after Elimination Chamber happened. I'm like, Bianca just won. She's going to go to face Rhea at WrestleMania. I was like, I see this happening. I honestly didn't see any beef between her, Rhea, or her and Io to really make this a big, you're leading up to something. I mean, they've been kind of building that with Charlotte and Tiffany, but I felt like this was something they're pulling it out and they're gonna bring it to us between now and WrestleMania. But I actually need to put makeup on. Okay, I'm gonna use the Hard Candy Smoothing Primer Balm and the e.l.f. Camo CC Cream, and I'm gonna chit chat while we do this. So I feel like they could be building some drama happening here. I know there's kind of sort of been some drama building up with Rhea and Io, so I feel like that's where the main drama is going to be, because Bianca has her own drama with Naomi and Jade, which after last night at SmackDown, crap hit the fan there. But so Rhea has never won against Io since they have been in the WWE. They started at NXT and, worked their way up to the main roster. And Io has beat Rhea now 4 times. I really thought Monday night was going to be the final. She's going to beat her. This is it. We finally are going to get retribution, whatever. I wasn't a follower or a fan at that time, so I can't really speak much to what was happening then. I can only speak to what has been happening. I started watching at War Games the year Randy and CM Punk came back. So Randy came back from injury. CM Punk came back to join WWE after his time at AEW ended. So I can only speak to what has been happening drama-wise since then, at least in terms of watching it. I've known about stuff and, stuff pops up and people bring stuff up. I never watched NXT when Rhea or Io were on it, but I know about it. So I feel like it's before my time of watching. I think I'm going to use this is the big beauty blender thing from Eco Tools. I think I'm going to use that to push this into the skin. So I was really hoping that Rhea could pull off the win and finally make it 3-1 instead of 4-0. But, we can't always get what we want. And I guess Rhea can't always be champion, as sucky as that is. She had her title when I started watching. I became a fan of hers, so this is wild. So it's almost a little embarrassing to say the reason. So I became a fan. I am a Motionless in White fan. Big fan, saw them in concert, love all their music. Another You was my breakup song back in 2020. Back in 2020, that was my breakup song whenever my ex and I broke up. That's a song that I listen to like crazy. I mean, amongst others, but that was one of the main songs that got me through that couple months of torture. So I've gotten myself really familiar with them, and a lot of people were saying that Chris Motionless looked a lot like this wrestler in WWE. My cousin, she even mentioned it, and I'm like, I gotta look up this chick. They're like, she kind of looks like Chris Motionless mixed with Marilyn Manson, and I was like, I need to look this up. This is really cool. I need to see what this is all about. Using e.l.f. Hydro Camo Concealer. So I looked her up and I was like, oh my gosh, this is super, cool as heck. I feel like this is super impressive. Well, my boyfriend, he had been into wrestling in the past. He like watched it for a long time, like had been off and on watching it, I guess. And I had gotten into wrestling a smidge. Not enough to know anyone, not enough to know anything. I knew that The Rock was a wrestler. I knew about John Cena, Stone Cold Steve Austin. I knew about the big people. Should have known about Randy Orton. But, you know, if they're not in Hollywood, I don't know about them. So, you know, it is what it is. Okay, so Rhea does not look like she's wearing much bronzer. So I'm actually not going to go in with bronzer. We're going to go straight to, I'm going to prime my eyes. And then we're going to go into the eyes because I'm going to kind of pull that out into like the blush type area, because it looks like these zones are like just straight her foundation shade and like just skin tone. And then like the eyes are the main part with all of the color. And then obviously her lips are black. But I'm going to go in with the eyeshadow primer, prime my eyelids so we can get started on the eye look. Well, my current boyfriend watches it and he put it on and I was just like, oh, I got to sit through this like 2 or 3 hours. Because back then SmackDown was 2 hours. I want to say Raw was 2 hours as well. I think they were both 2 hours back, because that's back whenever they were on USA Network. I sort of kind of watched, mostly didn't. I just wasn't really interested in watching. Well, then all of a sudden I like keep watching. And then that's whenever I found out about Rhea and I was like, I gotta start watching all of this. So then I became like a regular, you know, I would ask questions. I would try and figure out what was going on, who these people are, if I like or don't like them, figuring out what a babyface is versus a heel, which I'm still trying to get that. I got the general concept. It's just sometimes forgetting the terminology and like what, you know, but I know that like good is face and bad is heel. Bad is John Cena. Good is Cody Rhodes. But I digress. I'm going to be going in with the BH Cosmetics Sweet Shop Cotton Candy Palette. It looks like this. I also pulled out the Michaela Glamlight, I believe this is 2, to use some of these purples and blues down here, as well as Michaela 1, which looks like this. And I figured all of these purples and mainly just purples here would be good to use for this eye look. So we're going to dive into that while I keep yapping, because I'm very good at that. We're going to go in with Carnival from the BH palette, and I'm going to put that all around my face. I'm going to kind of carve out the area I want to use, and we're going to go from there. So yeah, that's pretty much whenever I found out about everything. I started liking Randy whenever he came back during War Games, and I didn't really understand like what that meant, that he was coming back, that he went away, that he was injured. I think he was injured. I think that was like either his leg or his back or something, like something lower body, I'm pretty sure was what his injury was. But my boyfriend was like, he's just coming back from injury, you know, like this is a kind of a big deal. Well, it wasn't, I don't know if it was during that same like segment or if it was like after that CM Punk came back, and I didn't quite realize the gravity of like him coming back, why he was gone. I didn't know any of that, and I still like am figuring all of that stuff out now way after the fact, just as like more details come about and everything. And so I like really started liking Randy Orton. Yeah, so I remember like that was kind of like the turning point of like, okay, I'm gonna follow along. So I watched at Elimination Chamber whenever Becky won. Didn't quite get the gravity of all of it, just knew that like Becky won some match, she's going to WrestleMania, she's fighting Rhea. That's all I kind of knew about this. And I knew who Becky Lynch was at that point, because she was kind of like a big face of the company, especially for women. I feel like she's one of those that like kind of set the tone for women. And I feel like in WWE, it was pushed so much that it was Ronda Rousey, but my boyfriend's not a Ronda Rousey fan. I'm indifferent to her because I was never following her when she was actually boxing, wrestling, whatever she was doing. I kind of don't like that she's someone that came out of thin air and just like bing, bang, boom, did everything and was super good. But I also am one of those people that like, if you've been busting your butt and working hard this entire time, I feel like you should kind of get a little bit more leverage than someone just popping in and like, hey, I'm good, I'm talented, throw me in the mix, you know, like I feel like you got to work your way up. It's never just a set in stone, you deserve this, all of that. So I like knew of Becky, but I was just kind of like unimpressed. Like I remember watching Elimination Chamber and I was like, this is Becky Lynch. Like, she's not wrestling that good. She's having a hard time defending herself in the ring. Now, this is just solely based on Elimination Chamber of 2024, I think. Whichever year she won it, this is what I'm talking about. That I just felt like she wasn't doing a good job at standing up for herself, defending herself. I was just like, ain't no way that this is the man that everyone claims is like so good, is so talented, everyone's obsessed with. I'm like, there's no way that she is as good as people claim she is when this is how she's wrestling. Like, I was like so unimpressed. I could not have been more unimpressed. Like, I was just like, Max, like, all right, this is Becky. Like, this is what we're getting. Like, you know, this is it. All right. So I was just sort of like, I don't really know if she's gonna be that good. And like, honestly, I had only seen Rhea wrestle maybe a couple of times at this point, but I just knew I liked Rhea. I wanted Rhea to win. And still at this point, I just think Rhea's the best. Her moves might not be the best. She might not have the best finisher. I don't even care. I'm not saying she does or doesn't. I'm just saying, like, if this were to be the argument, I don't care. I just like her and I just want her to win, and she's just the best. She should have kept her championship last week, but that's just moot point. So I was just like, okay, whatever. Well, so Becky comes out at WrestleMania and she's wearing a dress with all the words for her book that just came out, that she just published. Like, it's a memoir or a self-published. It's like talking about her life and what all has been going on with her and how she got to where she is and how she became the man, which is really cool in and of itself. And like, mad props to her. As someone who likes writing, I feel like this is like still cool. You got to give someone, you know, props where it's due and all of that stuff. So I was like still like pretty impressed, you know. It was really cool. I like the thought put into the dress and all of that. Well then, and in case you didn't know, Motionless in White wrote the song that Rhea comes out to, her entrance music. I would play it, but I'm not getting copyrighted by anyone here on YouTube. It's a really good song. I'm gonna go with Frisky from the Glamlight Michaela palette. I think it's like Glamlight 1 or so, and I'm just gonna kind of like dust it all over just to kind of deepen up this bright pink shade. So Rhea comes out, her music plays, and all of a sudden they zoom in, there's Chris Motionless, Rhea Ripley like doppelganger part 1, you know. Like, I was like, oh, my boyfriend and I look at each other because we've seen Motionless in White in concert. We are huge fans. We're obsessed with Rhea, that like, this is like all-time impressive. Like, I know people have come out with bands. Seth Rollins had a good entrance. Roman had a good entrance. Drew McIntyre's entrance was really cool. But I'm telling you, there is nothing cooler in my mind than seeing a band you love pop out for your favorite wrestler. Like, I'm telling you, there's just something about that like, we were just like stunned that this was happening. We were like, this can't get any cooler. And I was like, Rhea's gotta win at this point. I'm like, this is just like beyond, you know. The match was really good. Rhea fought really hard and she ended up retaining, which was my first big match. It was the first match of WrestleMania. It was the first match of night 1. So I was like, good, you know, I don't have to stress out the whole night. I can just like enjoy the rest of it, because the match that I wanted, you know, to happen happened, and it ended the way I wanted it to. Well, then I want to say it was like not long after WrestleMania, Liv Morgan shows up, and I absolutely despise this woman. Like, I cannot even explain to you how much I hate her. And it's because of all the stuff going down with Rhea. So I didn't know that they were ever tag team partners. They were friends. I didn't know any of this leading up to this. Like, I was literally like in the dark, had no clue. Like, I'm just like enjoying Rhea's moment. Like, this is all I'm really like, you know, I'm just enjoying Rhea. So Liv Morgan shows up and like beats the crap out of Rhea backstage. And it like must have been bad enough that it injured Rhea. So Rhea comes out on Monday Night Raw, and I saw a clip online about it because I think I was doing something else that I couldn't watch Monday night after this. And Rhea had to, there's some word, I can't think of what it is right now. She had to relinquish her title because she got beat up so bad that she could no longer defend the title, which I feel like at some point you can kind of get around that, but that's beside the point. Going in with Mama Wang from the Glamlight Michaela 2 palette, and I'm going to just lightly put that all around these bright pink edges, just to kind of like feather it out a little bit. So Rhea had to relinquish her title because her shoulder was injured and she needed to take time away, which we now know was so she could get married to Buddy Matthews from AEW, which that's what he's part of. He can't be in WWE, but you know, it is what it is. We'll take Rhea and just hope that Buddy follows along. I think at some point we might get him, but I don't know when that will be. Just grateful that Rhea's still here and not in AEW. So she had to relinquish the title. Well, then it was a matter of who gets the title after her. And I believe they had a like championship bracket style thing to determine who was going to get the title, who was going to win it. I'm going to go in with the Essence Long Lasting Eye Pencil and do my waterline. I might try and do an upper, but I'm not really sure. I mean, I could always do it and smudge it, so maybe that's what I'm going to do. So they ended up doing all of this, and Liv Morgan ends up winning the title. So she ends up becoming whatever champion. I can't think of what it's called at the moment, but she ends up becoming the champion. She takes Rhea's title, basically. Not technically, but basically, because she did beat her up and then steal it, you know, she won it. So technically she did steal it. But, so Rhea then lost her title to Liv freaking Morgan. And I don't say that in a fun way like Seth freaking Rollins. I say that in a like, I want to punch her in the face because I hate her so much. So she loses the title to Liv, and it's been like a year of hell with her trying to win it back. And she finally won it back at Netflix premiere on January 6th. It was such a good moment that she finally won it back. And then like, she was barely around, which, you know, like that's a whole, like, it was just, she was never really around, which I hate. Like, I hate to say that because a lot of people are never around and then you throw hate on them. So I like, don't want the hate on her, but basically that's what she did. So she left and then came back, and then her and Io were good friends. They teamed up at War Games. Like, it was a whole, like, you know, well then Io was in the running to go to Elimination Chamber, and Rhea stepped in to get back at Liv for beating up Io and Rhea and all of that because they knew that like they were friends and stuff. Well, she ends up costing Io the match. Liv wins. Liv goes to Elimination Chamber, which she didn't win, thankfully, but you know, it's still like it took away from Io going. So then Io's like, I'm challenging you for the title. Well, then boom, she takes the title, and I'm like, what just happened? And now I'm hearing reports that Rhea has an undisclosed issue that may be preventing her from showing up at WrestleMania 41. So now I don't know what's going to happen, and I'm stressed out. So we're reliving the glory days when Rhea had the title, retained, and won at WrestleMania 40. All right, this is where we're at. I actually don't hate it. Like, I could, other than like, if we were to like zoom it down like this, I actually don't hate the makeup. I would never do all of this all the time. We're really just doing this for the video, but I actually think, you know, not too bad, not too bad. So now we're going to try and do the inner part where it's like a bright whitish purple looking, and we're going to see what we can do there. I'm going to get some setting spray to wet my brush so then maybe I can like kind of make it look a little foiled and wet looking, and we'll figure out how to make this happen. I'm going to use the Milani Make It Last setting spray because I don't use it much. So anytime I play, I like to use products I don't always use a whole lot. The Glam Light palettes, I usually just use these to play with because I found that the texture, like the consistency and the quality isn't as up to par as I want it to be. It's very splotchy, patchy, just not quite what I want it to be. So I just use these to play with, which kind of sucks because I spent the money on them. All right, so we are going to do, and I believe she has, no, I think it's just her lashes. I know she would put TJD for the Judgment Day. Boo, we hate them now. But she would put that on her cheek. Or the last couple months she's done Terror Twins. I think lately she's just been putting RR for Rhea Ripley ever since Damian Boo got traded to SmackDown, which terrible move, Triple H. I can't believe you do that to me, but I do love the tension and the feud with him and Drew McIntyre. I just love anyone that gets under Drew McIntyre's skin. I like him, but he is just so salty that like anyone that can like F him up and like screw him over, I'm here for it. That's why I like CM Punk. That's why I like Damian Priest. I mean, I liked him for other reasons, but you know, like this just intensifies it. I liked his little bit of a feud, I think, with Seth. He had something, and I'm not the biggest Seth fan, but like that was kind of cool. Okay, I'm gonna use my Mean Girls mirror to try and carve this out. Let's see, what shadow should I use? I think I'm gonna use Nas from Glamlight 1. Glamlight the Kayla one. So I'm going to dip in and then spray. I don't know if you can see that, but that just came out. Ah! It's coming out all messed up. What is happening? Okay, now that was misted, but I literally just got like doused. I'm like covered in setting spray now. But I went to spray it and it like came out in squirts and I was like, what just happened? Like it was like all gloopy. The horribly scary clips you see online where it doesn't pan out for people. That's literally, yeah, what happened to me just now. I think I'm gonna go, oh my gosh, this is perfect. This is exactly what I wanted it to do. Oh my gosh, did Rhea and her makeup artist use this palette and this exact shadow for this? Because honestly, wow, I'd love to know what makeup her makeup artist and or her uses to do her makeup. We will make it work. I think a lot of it's on like some fake lashes. And we're not going to do that because your girl is not into fake lashes. I have a hard time making them happen. So we're just going to stick with my regular look, my regular face, with what I can provide. Okay, I like it, but I need it to be a little bit more... Okay, let's go in with Poppin' from Glamlight 2. Okay, that one has like... I don't know if you can see. Let me try and... You can't see it at all. It has like a kind of greenish shift. So I think, actually, well, no, this isn't purple enough. We're going to put it down just for some like, oomph. And then I'm going to go, oh my God. We're going to go in with that one. Okay, this is getting there. It doesn't have the point that Rhea's does. Mine's kind of going a little like flat and not pointy. So I'm going to try and figure that out. Actually, I really like that. The fact that it just like slices down. Okay, I think that's more what we want. It's not quite as purple, but I'm thinking this is the best I'm going to be able to get. Because, yeah, Immaculate's not going to do what I want. And neither is Portage, I think that's what it is. That one's not really going to do what I want it to do. I'm going to go in with, oh my God. And I'm going to do the other eye off camera and I will bring it back and see what it looks like whenever I have all of it done for both eyes. All right, let's finish out this look with some black lipstick. I'm going in with the NYX Suede matte lipstick in Alien. Quite fitting, quite fitting. I don't believe I have a lip liner. Let me look. Don't have the lip liner. So we're just going to go in and hope for the best. All right, does this look like someone who eats, sleeps, and breathes the demons in your dreams? I actually really like this. Maybe I will try and go as Rhea for Halloween or something. I really wanted to go as The Undertaker last year because The Undertaker has been like my childhood obsession. I was a big fan of him growing up. Never watched wrestling, but I was a big fan of him growing up. And I really wanted to go as him, but I thought of it like a day before Halloween. I didn't have the money, couldn't find all of the stuff, but I still have plans to do it. And I even wanted to get like makeshift a coffin that then I like rose up out of and like, boom, it's The Undertaker. But yeah, we do have the option for Rhea, says I can do the makeup and look like Rhea. So what do we think? Do you like this series? Do you want me to keep going? Because honestly, I'm not opposed to keep recreating looks and or just do something that's a vibe of a wrestler. I'm honestly, you know, willing to do something along those lines. Let me know. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Ring the notification bell down below so you get notified when I upload the next video. Stay tuned for that one, guys. Really hope you like this one. Big shout out to Rhea Bloody Ripley. Love her so much. Really hope things work out. She can get her title back. She can end up back at WrestleMania again. And, you know, we can be victorious because that's what we were always meant to be, is to be great. Also, happy International Women's Day. Couldn't be more fitting to portray one of the toughest women out there, one of the pioneers of the women's division in WWE. She really didn't, but, you know, she's like killing it. So, you know, There we go. But all right, hope you guys like this. See you in the next one. Bye.